Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Sky Lounge, episode number 339, Picking the Pieces of Sportsball Tribes, Part 1, NFL and MLB. Now, the purpose of the next two episodes is going to be listing all my favorite players in each respective leagues of sportsball in North America. And yes, I will need 30 fucking minutes twice to explain four leagues. I want to talk about Major League Baseball, National Football League, the National Hockey League, and the National Basketball Association. So why do I not include soccer in them, aka European football? Well, if we went on with which players I liked from either domestic or European competition, which Arsenal's not even a fucking part of, we'd be here all day and we'd honestly get nothing productive done. That's just the way football kind of works, and the dynamic of trying to compliment every fucking player, that doesn't really work, right? Because of how expansive football is. But listen, we're going to be talking about football here real soon, in a couple of days, when the Euros and Copa America kicks off. So that's going to be some shit. But for now, boys and girls, I'm going to be listing all my favorite players from each team, each league, and the numbers are going to break down like this. NFL, 32. MLB, 30. NHL, 31. Technically plus one, so I might just throw a wild guess in there for the Seattle Krakens. And NBA, 30. So we're going to break these players down team by team. And again, today we're going to be talking about some NFL and MLB. And yes, boys and girls, divided this into divisions and conferences. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is start from the AFC North, move on to the NFC North, then AFC South, NFC South, AFC East, NFC East, AFC West, NFC West. That way, I could talk about my team last. And yeah, it won't really be a huge fucking surprise who my favorite football player is in the Seahawks. I mean, I have this jersey right behind me. Good old number 54. Spoiler alert. Yeah, Bobby Wagner. But let's get on with this, boys and girls, and start with the AFC North, where the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would tell you my favorite player is TJ Watt. No fucking doubt. Because who the hell are you going to pick? That one jackass? Oh, wait. Okay. Claypool? Was that right? Mr. Arrogant prick who got burned so fucking bad by the Browns he couldn't assess tape properly? Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck Mason Rudolph. Like, no. Absolutely not. But TJ? I got room for some TJ. That I do. Shout out to Derek Watt. But, yeah, I'm not a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Clearly. Seahawks fan. I'm not buying into that shit. But I do love me some TJ Watt. The man is an absolute animal as a defensive end, and he is just he's a line wrecker is what he is. And when you have to face him off again, this upcoming season, again, it's horrifying. Because he eats quarterbacks for lunch and snacks. A little bit of fucking sprinkles on top to make it so mouth-watering. But Pittsburgh, man, your defense is pretty damn good. And TJ, right there for me. And for the Baltimore Ravens, I got to pick Mark Andrews. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, you don't like Lamar Jackson? You don't think Lamar's good? I don't really care for Lamar Jackson. I think he's okay. I think his MVP season was a little bit overblown, but that's none of my business. Because tight end Mark Andrews, baby. Consistency. Good hands. Big boy. Get shit done. And yeah, of course, I mean, has to do a lot with that line being very stable and solid. Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens offensive line there. But I love me some Mark Andrews. He's fantastic. Also just an absolute fucking unit, man. He just gets down there. It's a couple of fucking yards. I mean, hell. Obviously, due to the fact that, well, I mean, other than Sammy Watkins, I guess, you don't really have much of a receiving course. I mean, Mark Andrews is kind of your big guy. so to speak. And I could be wrong, boys and girls. Of course I could be, right? My assessment of all fucking teams are going to be very fucking barren, basic assessment level shit. So if you fucking happen upon any faux pas, boys and girls, bitch and moan all you want. I don't really care. It's just my humblest of opinions. And again, Mark Andrews, Baltimore Ravens, fantastic player. Love that guy. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals. I could have picked Joe Burrows, but I wanted to just pick one quarterback in each division if I could, and maybe stick to that. And clearly there's a player that I fucking love in the Cleveland Browns. We all know, boys and girls. But let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Mixon, a great running back, and a guy who doesn't get enough love. I mean, I know fantasy enthusiasts are all about Joe Mixon, but yeah, IRL, real life, it's fucking hard to root for the guy because A, the Cincinnati Bengals don't know what the fucking offensive line is, and B, the fucking Bengals haven't been good in a long time. And I'm not counting 2000 fucking, what was it, 15 or 16? I'm not counting that shit. I'm talking about 80s, 90s Bengals when they were actually good. But right now, you still clearly don't want to fucking protect Joe Burrows, do you? Yeah, here's a shiny Joe Mixon. I love Joe Mixon. Love the way he runs. Love the way he gets them yards. He's a fucking warrior down there in the trenches, but my God. Bengals, you fucking suck. It pisses me off how fucking poorly you run. And yeah, how is the legendary Paul Brown's son such an inept piece of shit when it comes to football? It boggles my fucking mind, but yeah, there you go. Mike Brown just taking a shit on the fucking Bengals, and I fucking hate it every year. Every year! It's something. But that same sentiment I can't say about the Cleveland Browns anymore. Because, baby, we're in a new era of Cleveland Browns football, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's all spearheaded by my boy, by the boy that I've been fucking cheering on since I think it was week 3 or 4 against the Jets, Thursday Night Football. Rookie season. Fucking, oh man, who was it? Is it Taylor? One of the fucking Taylors there. Quarterback. Had to be replaced. Baker comes in. Heroics. Absolutely amazing. And in second year, bit of an ego. Didn't work out all that well for you, good old Baker there. But 2020 last year, hooking up with Kevin Stefanski, boy, was fantastic. And this is the Baker that I knew was there. And just makes me so fucking happy. My favorite quarterback in the AFC North is the best quarterback in his division. Now, Joe Burrows can certainly prove me wrong. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a glorified running back who can really decently play quarterback. Prove me wrong. Prove me fucking wrong in the fucking playoffs. Stop it with the, we at least won one game. Oh! Against the inept Titans who had nothing to show for in that fucking game you're talking about? Yeah, okay. All right. But yeah, Baker Mayfield, actual quarterback in the AFC North, doing damage and proving that he's a winner. But that's my favorite quarterback in the AFC North, and all my favorite players there in the AFC North. Now, moving on to the NFC North. Green Bay. Oh, the Green Bay Packers. How I relentlessly bash you motherfuckers all the time. But there is one player that I absolutely love in the Green Bay Packers. I wish he was with the fucking Seahawks. Jair Alexander. Defensive back. Just an absolute fucking animal back there. And clean up, does shit well, speed, power. He's just got it all. I'm jealous. I want that shit. And yeah, it kind of sucks too. Just reminded myself that Shaquille Griffin's gone. But yeah. Sometimes Seattle life be like that, man. You don't get the players you want. Just the way it goes. But I'm certain teams don't give a shit what I want. No, they don't care what the fuck I want. They care about teams that I don't root for, but the players I just meticulously, creep up on. Like a Minnesota Vikings player, which That was a weird transition. But hey, man, we are here anyways. We are here to talk about the Minnesota Vikings and the favorite player to choose from the Vikings. I mean, it's Justin Jefferson. It's Justin freaking Jefferson. That guy is... Ooh, he is a fucking amazing receiver. I mean... Is he better than DK? I can't really say yes for sure right now because he's only had 1 year versus DK had 2 years. But Justin Jefferson is going to be a fucking tsunami in this league as a receiver. And it's kind of a shame that you're just with Kirk Cousins. But hey, you also got that new kid that you drafted. So Desmond Kelly. Fuck, I forgot his goddamn name. But hey, the Minnesota Vikings, I like me some Justin Jefferson. I mean, hell, I love me some Justin Jefferson. And when we continue into the NFC North and the other teams that we need to talk about, the Detroit Lions, TJ Hawkinson, just a fantastic tight end. And kind of overlooked because of the Lions and just the way they are. And oh my God, the constant ineptitude is just baffling. But yeah. TJ Hawkinson, probably the one few good things that Lions did over the last, 4 years? Oh my God, there's really nothing good about the goddamn Lions, is there? Not a whole lot. But shout out to my boy Jeff. Huge Lions fan, but that organization kind of pisses me off. But hey, man, you know, it doesn't piss me off as much, but still, we're still there. The Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, I got to pick Khalil Mack as my favorite player. I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, but do you really think I'm going to pick Andy Dalton? And I was pulling for Ohio State during the, the college fucking semifinals, where the fuck they call that shit? Yeah, I don't watch college football, kids. I just don't. I don't give a fuck about it. But, yeah, the Ohio State quarterback. I'm forgetting all these fucking names, unless I fucking write it down. God damn it! Is it No, that's not Chase Young. Chase Young's the fucking beautiful stud in the Washington Redskins, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Khalil Mack, to me, is just... I mean, what more can you say about Khalil Mack, man? It's kind of like Diet Aaron Donald, which is still amazing. I know that's kind of a fucking diss to Khalil Mack, and I'm not meaning to demean the guy so much and call it a diet version of something. But dude, I mean, if Aaron Donald is like number one, Khalil Mack, number two. Right there. Right fucking there. Okay? But maybe three. Maybe three. But Khalil Mack, fantastic player. Now, when we move on into the AFC South, the Tennessee Titans. I know Julio just got traded, and if he was still with the Falcons, I would have picked Julio and the Falcons, but in the Tennessee Titans, it's A.J. Brown. Before Julio, I mean, A.J. Brown was somebody that I was watching, because he came up with DK Metcalf in Ole Miss, and the two guys who were, quote-unquote, underutilized in Ole Miss, and I didn't watch any tape from Ole Miss, but that was stated. Two guys who have been just absolutely fantastic as receivers their first 2 years. And AJ, I think you can argue, is marginally better than DK at times. And AJ is such a great dynamic for that Titans offense. And of course, now you had Julio Jones. It's a fucking party, right? But love me some AJ Brown. Now, when we move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, CJ Henderson. Doesn't get a lot of talking about because he was a rookie last season, but I love the way he played a cornerback and just, I think he might have been injured in the latter part of the season, but I think this is a kid with a lot of potential, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are still pretty young, and I was going to put Miles Jack on there, but not really my favorite player to watch. I mean, technically, if Joe Schobert is in there, I'd probably put Joe Schobert, but... yeah, I'm picking goddamn CJ Henderson for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, as the Houston Texans, dude, I couldn't fucking bring myself to list anybody from the Houston Texans. They're all garbage. They're all trash, including Deshaun Watson. So I'm picking my boy, Justin Britt, former center of the Seattle Seahawks. Shout out to my boy, Justin Britt. But, yeah, Yeah, Houston Texans, you're a fucking dumpster fire. I have nothing good to say about you, and you ruin every single one of your players. Congratulations. You should Control-Alt-Delete your franchise and fuck off. Seriously, it's a fucking travesty. What's not a travesty, though, is the Indianapolis Colts. And my favorite player, Quentin Nelson. Oh my God. This guy, as a fucking linesman, it's just insane how good he is. And I'm not a snob or a expert in offensive lineman play or whatever they do down there, but Quentin's pretty fucking good. And the entirety of that lineup, man, for the Indianapolis Colts, it's disgusting. It's disgusting how good it is. Now, if Carson Wentz can't capitalize on that shit next year, I will be kind of mad because I do like Carson, but you got Frank. You got that O-line. You got weapons. I expect good things from you, Carson. But the Colts, Quentin Nelson's just a beast. But moving on into the Atlanta Falcons, and I actually wrote ATL because Atlanta's just a fucking joke. And the only thing that's not a joke in that squad is Young Hoku. Shout out to my Korean brother, Young Hoku. Doing it big down there. Best kicker in the league. Probably right. I mean, Jason Sanders is number 2, but it's not that much of a fucking difference. But Young Hoku, best kicker in the league, by far in the 2020 season, and he got snubbed. Got fucking snubbed, and it was disgusting. But Young Hoku, best player in the Atlanta Falcons. Seriously, he really is. Remember those onside kicks on Thanksgiving Day? Not just one, not just 2, 3 onside kicks. 3 fucking onside kicks by Young Hoku. That's how good he is. Okay? I don't want to hear shit about this anymore. Young Hoku, the best. GOAT! But moving on to Tampa Bay, or as people affectionately call them, Tampa Bay, you would think, because I'm a fan of Tom Brady, I would pick Tom Brady. No, Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was ecstatic for Mike Evans when he won his first Super Bowl because he was in this fucking middling crap team for years. With his talent, with his explosiveness, with his just general presence as just a great WR1. And man, oh man, when he got that fucking Lombardi trophy and won the game, I mean, having a big part to do with it felt good. Felt good as in the, non-fan, just kind of watching the Super Bowl, like, oh, cool, Mike Evans, awesome. This dude has been fantastic. I mean, so Godwin's fucking great too, but hey, Mike Evans doing it dirty down there in good old Tampa Bay. Who's also doing it dirty for me, in a good way, is New Orleans Saints, quote-unquote, quarterback and Taysom Hill. Now, for Taysom Hill, something about his Batman-like utility is just brilliant. And I want to see more of Taysom Hill in limited capacity because I don't know what the fuck quarterback situation is going to brew down in NOLA. But, yeah, Taysom Hill, I affectionately call Batman, is still my favorite player in the Saints. And I know Kamara is an obvious choice, but no, for me it's Taysom Hill. And the Carolina Panthers, Jeremy Chin. This dude is a brilliant. I think he was safety. He played mostly safety, if I'm not mistaken, right? But Jeremy Chin, I think he's going to be a star in the Carolina Panthers. I genuinely do believe he is going to be maybe a big part and a big leader in that defensive core for the Carolina Panthers. And you definitely need it for this young squad that's just coming off of a rebuilding year, and it's going to be a rough stretch, but very interested to see how this team flourishes under Matt Rule, and Jeremy Chin certainly is a cat I am going to be watching out for very intently. Now, moving on to the AFC East and the Miami Dolphins, Xavier Howard, man, brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. I think possibly the best corner in the league. I mean, maybe next to Jalen Ramsey right there, but yeah, it's pretty fucking good, that guy. And when you move on into the New England Patriots as Miami's AFC East neighbors, I got to pick Dante Hightower. This dude, ever since Super Bowl 51, I've always just been so strung out on fucking Dante Hightower and how just clutch, like the clutchness in the fucking play against the Falcons in that Super Bowl. He was great. And his presence is so massive that when the Patriots didn't have a guy like Dante Hightower who opted out, they were absolutely fucking miserable in defense. And it's not just Hightower, of course it's not, but I think Hightower is a pivotal piece to what Bill Belichick wants to do with that defense. And him coming back this season, it's gonna be some nasty shit over there in New England. But moving on to Buffalo, I know it's the obvious choice, but I had to go with Josh Allen. The way he improved after, completely choking out in that Houston Texans game in the playoffs in 2019. What more can you say about Josh Allen? He had an MVP caliber year. If it wasn't for a certain guy named Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen would have won the MVP. Changed my fucking mind on that shit. Josh Allen is brilliant. And I think he's going to continue to go on in this impressive way of growing and just evolving. And I wish him the best. And another team in New York that we have to talk about, the New York Jets. George Fant. All stand for the national anthem. Yes. Shout out to Cable Thanos. Also shout out to George Fant, who was, a linesman, part of the Seattle Seahawks, but he was also an eligible receiver. So I love that shit about George Fant. And man, I would love George Fant back on the goddamn Seahawks. But that's some wishful thinking, boys and girls. It's just what it is, right? But kids, let's move on into the NFC East while we got our brain still working around the clock. Because if this guy got on your ass, your brain would be rattled for days. And of course, I'm talking about Washington Redskins' own Chase Young. Chase Young is, I don't know what else to say about the guy. I haven't said anything, but I mean, his plays make me speechless. And I keep saying the same word, presence, power, size, all that shit. But dude, the way he can just manipulate his own body and just fuck with you and fuck the entire play up. Chase Young is just dirty. Just fucking dirty. And I love it. And I want to see more of Chase Young. And the Seattle Seahawks will be seeing Chase Young. And I'm terrified of that, honestly, because Russell Wilson's probably going to get mauled up. But love me some Chase Young. Love me his game. And moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles, Fletcher Cox. Love me some Fletcher Cox. Not just because of the dirty word that's in there, but Fletcher Cox is a unit, a solid unit for the Philadelphia Eagles, and also a champ. I mean, what more can you say about him, right? But when we move on to the Dallas Cowboys, I was going to pick Dak because I love me some Dak Prescott. I mean, I've talked up Dak for quite some time on this podcast, but Leighton Vander Esch, one of my favorite linebackers in the league, and he kind of has this Sean Lee-like symptom of just constantly being injured, but I do like me some Leighton Vander Esch. I think he's a solid linebacker. Love his game. Love the way he just has that fucking neck popping collar too, which is fucking great to watch. But yeah, Leighton Vander Esch for me. And when we move on to the New York Football Giants, I gotta go with Saquon Barkley. You don't really need to say a lot about Saquon. He's just beautiful. I mean, the man himself is objectively beautiful, sure. But I mean, his game itself is brilliant. And yeah, the New York Football Giants, without Saquon, kind of a middling team. And Daniel Jones, because that's what you get with Daniel Jones. You just don't know. One day he could be brilliant, and the next day he could just be bleh. So, Giants time, right? That's on par for the course, boys and girls. But why don't we move on into the AFC West, where on par for the course we have the Las Vegas Raiders, and I gotta pick Henry Ruggs. I know Derek Carr is an interesting answer too, but again, trying to fucking stick to the one quarterback thing here in each division. So gotta pick me Henry Ruggs. I think he is another brilliant receiver out there, young too, very physical guy, and I mean he's probably huge in Vegas. I wouldn't know. I don't really talk to Raiders fans about their team all that much. I don't really talk to people. I'm caveman shit. So I just fanboy by myself. And the one player that I truly do fanboy a lot about is Patrick freaking Mahomes. Patrick freaking Mahomes, the second of his name. The only man who showed up in Super Bowl 55. Was it 55? 56? I don't even fucking remember the goddamn Super Bowl number anymore. Am I turning that old? Well, I know Patrick doesn't have to be concerned about that because this young lad, this strapping young lad, just a $500 million man, you could do whatever the hell you want. I mean, you are just an insanely gifted quarterback, and the league should be absolutely terrified of how long this guy's going to be around. Unless there's some freak injuries that happen throughout, dude, Patrick's going to be around for a long time. So have fun, guys. You just replace Tom Brady with another goddamn God-tier quarterback. But hey, that's our lot in life in the NFL. It happens like that, boys and girls. But let's move on to the LA Chargers, where I got Joey Bosa. I know the Chargers don't get a lot of loving because of Spanos and the whole San Diego saga. But Joey Bosa, someone that I've been watching for quite some time and love his game. Another guy who I wish was on my team. Joey Bosa, another fucking wrecker of games and lines, and another brilliant guy to watch. And for the Denver Broncos, Von Miller. What more can you say about Von, man? I mean, he's so fun. The way he plays, too, just the pass rushing in his veins, just there. And you know, goddamn know, that Von is just going to do you right and do you fucking dirty, too. Because that's just Von. He hits hard, gets at you. And when we move on into the final division of football, got to talk about, yes, the NFC West. And the LA Rams, Aaron Donald. Yeah. Arguably one of the best players in football. I mean, the best defensive player in the league. He should honestly just get the DPOY every single year. And I wouldn't really bitch and moan about it all that much. He's just that good. Aaron Donald is just that good. I know as a Seahawks fan, it's weird to hear me say that shit, but no. Aaron Donald is really just that good. Sucks to say it, but he is. But let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers, where I got another Bosa brother that I got to pick out. Nick Bosa. One of my favorite images of Nick Bosa is him crying when they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. But I still like Nick Bosa, even though he's with the fucking 69ers. Yet. Yeah, another defensive end that I wish I was on my team. But he's not, and he's brilliant. Now, with the Arizona Cardinals, Budda Baker. I could have really gone with Larry Fitzgerald here, but Budda is such a fun player to watch. I mean, that little chase down of him and DK last year was fucking hilarious. His interception potentially going for the pick six and DK just catching him up, gobbling him all those yards and not, conceding that. That was amazing. I mean, good on DK, but I mean, also another fucking great play by Budda Baker. And just the way the Arizona Cardinals defense is just on fire at times, man. Fucking brilliant stuff. But kids, now it's time to move on into my Seattle Seahawks fandom, where I got to talk about some Bobby Wagner. Now, my boy Bobby is a leader, and he is another cat out there that I think just beyond the football, I just love what he does off the field, always, educating himself. Remember, he was very known well a couple years back when he had to negotiate his own contract extension, and successfully so, because he was very truthful and honest. And I wish we had more players like that who are all about, self-education, self-knowledge, and just promoting that in the league so everybody else can do that for themselves, which, yeah, shout out to Bobby Wagner, the beast man. And yeah, I got my Russell Wilson jersey on right now, but I gotta give some love for Bobby. Same draft year as Russell Wilson too. Arguably the best linebacker in the league, even when Luke Kuechly was around. But kids, I know we just hit the 30-minute mark, but why don't we do a little bit of rapid fire with the MLB? Because I won't lie to you, as much as I'm gonna, try to list all these names out, I mean, there's not gonna be a lot that I can say in detail about these players. Because again, I am still pretty much a baseball newbie, despite all my Dodgers paraphernalia and the 23 fucking years I've been cheering for these motherfuckers. But why don't we get started with the AL East? So Tampa Bay, Randy Arozarena, beautiful man. But stop it with that domestic abuse shit. Like, you and Julio Urias, calm the fuck down. I know you might have just pushed her, but calm the fuck down. This is not how America perceives shit. All right, really chill the fuck out. Relax. But okay, could have put Kevin Kiermaier or G-Man Choi in this place, but no, had to pick Randy Arozarena, especially after the run last year. And for Boston, Kike Hernandez, my boy Kike. Love you, buddy. Love you, Kike. You're the best. You're the fucking best. Shout out to my boy Doogie, too. Now, the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge. I mean, the fucking, the Apple Man. The Apple Man. That fucking giant. What's that fucking giant in American lore? American myth lore. What the fuck? That doesn't matter. Aaron Judge is a beast. And yeah, even though I fucking can't stand the goddamn Yankees, I really like Aaron Judge. He's really fucking good. Now, moving on to Toronto Blue Jays, Hyunjin Ryu, former LA Dodgers, of course. Hyunjin, my boy. But when we move on to the Baltimore Orioles, Pedro Severino, I guess, not a whole lot of positives to say about the Baltimore Orioles. Shame. At least you have the Ravens right there, so it's a win. Now, let's move on into the NL East with the New York Mets. Jacob deGrom, absolutely amazing pitcher. The season he's having right now, it's unreal. And yeah, the Mets are fucking pathetic for wasting his talents for all these years. Yeah, why do you think Trevor Bauer didn't want to go to the fucking Mets? Oh, I wonder why. But Jacob deGrom, you're a beast. And moving on to the Atlanta Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. Fantastic young talent, hitting home runs for fun, and just an all-around stud. And the same could be said for Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies. And I, for the longest time, used to shit on him, especially when he got the contract. I booed him in the Vegas Golden Knights games. But I got to give a huge shout out to Foolish Baseballs and just educating me on my mistakes and where the numbers and visuals just showed me the errors of my ways. And that Bryce Harper, also a Las Vegas boy that I got to give a shout out to, is brilliant. And, he's just a fun talent to watch in baseball. And he makes baseball fun. And him and a lot of the cats out there, right? Young guys, solid talents. Now, not young, but a veteran and just a fucking warrior all around, Steven Strasburg of the Washington Nationals. And of course, it fucking hurt when the Nationals beat the Dodgers. I still fucking hate thinking about that. I do. I fucking do. But yeah, Steven Strasburg is still awesome. Fantastic pitcher. Love watching him play. And just dirty. Just like Sandy Alcantara of the Miami Marlins. I actually really like Sandy. And it's one of those things, because Miami isn't a quote-unquote successful enough team that they don't really get the notoriety that they should, especially with Sandy and on the mound there. But yeah, Sandy's another brilliant pitcher of the Major League Baseball. Is he top 15? I have no idea. One can argue, sure. But I like Sandy. I like Sandy Alcantara. Now, let's move on, again, rapid-fire style, into the AL Central Division. Why muck up my goddamn English there. But what I'm not going to muck up on is my favorite player of the Chicago White Sox, which is Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito. Brilliant. Not a lot to say about certain pitchers. I mean, especially the way they throw their fucking curves, their fucking fastballs, and just their grit when they're on the mound. I mean, there are certain players that just have that it factor, and I love it. And certainly Lucas Giolito could be one of them. And what you're going to notice is I have a lot of pitchers on here. I just love watching pitchers throw those fucking balls and just work the mental game on the mound too, which is just brilliant stuff. And Shane Bieber of the Cleveland Indians, another fantastic talent to watch, young, great talent, who might be a Cy Young winner in the near future. Who the hell knows? I mean, he's that good, but we'll wait and see, right? Now, with the Kansas City Royals, I had to go with Andrew Benintendi. Not a lot of familiar names for me, and I'll be honest about a lot of these guys. Not hugely familiar, especially the Royals. But Andrew Benintendi, been around since, the Red Sox days, right, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he's a decent player. I mean, especially, I remember he fucked this up in the World Series, right? Yeah. Not a fun memory, but it is there. Now, we do have the Detroit Tigers and Miguel Cabrera, a veteran, an ancient stone of history in Major League Baseball, but got to give Cabrera a shout out there. With Minnesota, the Twins, I have to pick Josh Donaldson. Kind of eccentric, wild, but that's why I got to love the guy, right? And this is where we move on into the NL Central, kids. In the Pittsburgh Pirates, I'll go with David Bednar. Not a lot to say about the Pirates, honestly, especially watching, highlights and replays of the last few days here when their Dodgers were facing the Pirates. Just an all-around ugly affair. But that's a Pirate's life, kids. Piracy. But we move on into the Cincinnati Reds, and I got to pick up Joey Votto, another great player that really foolish baseball has done a lot to educate me in the realm of baseball. And Joey Votto, another one of those cases. And with the St. Louis Cardinals, I got to give Nolan Arenado the nod here. And it's mainly because, you're not with the Colorado Rockies anymore, so I like that. And I'm glad you're succeeding out there in the St. Louis Cardinals. And I hope we don't meet in the playoffs, because that's a terrifying fucking team to try to go against. But hey, the Cardinals aren't the only thing that's got to be a headache, but I got to get compliments to. Certainly, the Chicago Cubs do belong in that realm too. And yeah, I could have easily gone with Jock Peterson here, but I do respect and like Anthony Rizzo and his game. And certain players on this list, it's not that I love them, it's just I like their game, I respect their game, so I'll put them on there. But Rizzo is one of those guys. I don't really particularly like him. Dodgers have that line, that bitter fiction. But moving on into the Milwaukee Brewers, Corbin Burns. Burns, right? Yeah. My U sometimes looks like an A, but certainly Corbin's balls don't make that weird mistake. That man is a beast pitcher. And yeah, really spearheading the Brewers into a really fantastic season for themselves. But let's not suck their dicks too long, boys and girls, as we have to wrap this shit up with the AL West in the Anaheim Angels. You're not LA, bitch. You go back to fucking Anaheim with the goddamn Ducks in Disneyland. Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani? Sure. Yeah. No, Mike Trout. What? Best player in baseball. Next. Oakland. Matt Chapman. Decent pick. Nothing too fancy. Felt Matt Chapman was the right one here. I like him. I like his game. Not too crazy. Not crazy, but gotta be. Now, I know I'm glossing over a lot of this shit with very basic and monosyllabic answers, but again, newbie. And I'm gonna try, especially by the end of next month or so. But yeah. Let's actually move on into the Texas Rangers, Joey Gallo. Solid. Seattle Mariners, Kyle Lewis. And the Houston Asterisks. There's nobody I could have fucking picked, so I went with Pedro Baez. That's really it. And the NL West, speed run this shit, baby. Colorado Rockies, Trevor Story. He's going to be out of there very soon. Arizona fucking Diamondbacks, I'm going to pick Madison Bumgarner. Even though, yeah, we've had our run-ins with the San Francisco Giants, and yeah, it sucks to see him win so many goddamn rings. But hey, Madison Bumgarner, I like the cut of his jib. And the San Francisco Giants, I got to pick Buster Posey. I think he's great. Good catcher, too. Solid player. and renaissance season for him. San Diego Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. I've already filleted this dude on the fucking podcast long enough. The guy is simply fantastic. And for the Dodgers, of course, Clayton Kershaw. And that wraps it up for NFL and MLB, boys and girls. Well, I stutter my words there. But hey, that's it for today. Come back for tomorrow for part 2. And fuck off. I know. The last Major League Baseball bit was a bit prolonged, but we're going to get it right next time. So fuck off.